In the name of Almighty One God, who is most merciful and most beneficent. Dear friends, my name is Dr. Abu Abdullah, and I am certified qualified from 6 universities of the world. I'm a researcher of comparative religion and science and Quran. This is my second lecture regarding the contribution of Muslims of medieval time in establishing the hospitals. Today we will talk about the Ayyubids and other dynasties. Ayyubi was a Muslim government, Muslim Khilafat. At a time when the dwindling Abbasid Caliph means rulers, ruling, was helpless to meet the greatest threat to Islam, Sultan Nuruddin Zangi and Sultan Salahuddin Ayyubi successfully met the challenge and rolled back the surging waves of crusaders who had swarmed into the Holy Land, Jerusalem. These incessant military campaigns could not lessen their interests in the patronage of art and learning, and they spent the major part of their income on public welfare activities. Allama ibn Jubair, who on his way to Mecca in 6th century AH passed through Baghdad, Mosul, Aleppo, and Damascus, found a network of charitable public welfare institutions there. Nuruddin had opened a big dispensary in Damascus which was called Novia, which met the expenses of indoor and outdoor patients. Another institution of the same type existed in Damascus. In 577 AH, Sultan Salahuddin Ayyubi, better known in the West as Saladin, converted a large Fatimid palace into a hospital. Allama ibn Jubair visited this grand hospital in Cairo and gives a detailed description in his travelogue. It contained hundreds of beds for indoor patients and had a separate ward for female patients who were attended to by female staff only. A separated portion of hospital with spacious grounds bounded by high walls was reserved for the lunatics. This hospital was frequently inspected by the Sultan himself, who kept a strict watch over it. The Sultan had also built another magnificent hospital in Alexandria. The lead given by the Sultans Nuruddin Zangi and the Sultan Salahuddin Ayyubi was enthusiastically followed by others, and well-to-do people vied with each other in founding public welfare institutions. In 678 AH, when Mansur Qalun ascended the throne of Cairo, he built a magnificent hospital in Cairo, which was second only to Azdiya hospitals in Baghdad. The hospital was housed in four big buildings occupying an area of 10,600 square yards. A canal which followed through the hospital supplied it with water. The ruler had set aside property yielding 1 million dirhams per annum for its expenses. This hospital, which was open to all, had separate apartments for treatment of patients suffering from different diseases. A teaching institution was also attached to this hospital. The biggest hospital of the world of Islam, which was equipped with all available medical facility, was built by Azadud-Dawla in 368 AH in Baghdad. This hospital, which with its spacious building, up-to-date medical instruments, equipments, excellent arrangements, and efficient administration, which could rank with the best hospitals built until the middle of the 19th century, was in reality a medical university. Drawn from all parts of the Islamic world, where the more than 80 medical specialties, including the Ibn Baks, Abu Yaqub, and Abu Isa, who treated patients and also delivered lectures on various medical subjects. The hospitals, which took 3 years to be built, employed skilled ophthalmologists like Abu Nasr ibn Dholi, surgeons like Abu Khair, and orthopedic surgeon like Abu al-Salih. According to Al-Kifti, Ibn Madiyah of Isfahan was summoned from Central Asia. All these hospitals were overshadowed, says a European writer, by the hospital that be founded in Baghdad, complete with equipment, numerous trust funds, and a pharmacy stocked in drugs brought from the ends of the earth. A list of diets and drugs used in this hospital is preserved in the British Museum in London. The main dispensary of the hospital was housed in a palatial building. Benjamin of Tudela, a Jew who visited Baghdad in 1160 AD, found no less than 60 medical institutions there. He writes, all are well provided from the king's stores with spices and other necessaries. Every patient who claims assistance is fed at the king's expenses until his cure is complete. There is another large building called the Darul Marfatan, in which are locked up all those insane persons who are met with during the hot season, every one of whom is secured by iron chain until his reason returns, when he is allowed to return home. For this purpose, they are regularly examined once a month by king's officers appointed for the purpose. And when they are found to be possessed by reason, they are immediately liberated. All this is done by the king in pure charity towards all those who comes to Baghdad, either ill or insane. For the king is a pious man and his intention is excellent in this respect. A number of medical institutions and hospitals were opened in Baghdad and in the provinces during the 11th and 12th century AD. In 1113 AD, a hospital was opened in Baghdad by Khumestakin and was known as Tutushi Hospital. A few years later, a school for orphans was built by Mustafi Azizuddin, who bore all the expenses of its residents. A hospital attached to a medical university was founded by Azizuddin in Shiraz. Abu Said Kukubari built 4 asylums in Arbela for the blind and for persons suffering from chronic diseases. The big hospitals like that of Azatud-Dawla employed a large staff, both technical and administrative. The chief officer of the dispensary was called Sheikh Saidalani. The administration of the hospital was headed by a governor who used to be a non technical man, usually a general or a prince. The post of Mutwalli or Dean was usually filled by medical men. It was occupied by Al Razi at Ray, and later he was appointed Mutwalli of the old hospital in Baghdad. Al Jurjani held this post at Khwarizm. One of the finest Islamic hospitals was built by Abdul Wahid al Marakshi in Morocco in about 1200 AD. According to the writer of the medical history of Persia, the hospital was unequaled in the world. First there was selected a large open space in the most level part of the town. The workmen embellished with the beauty of sculpture and ornamentation even beyond what was demanded by them. All sorts of suitable trees and fruits trees were planted there. Water there was in abundance, flowing through all the rooms. In addition, there were four large pools in the center of the building. One of them was lined with white marble. The hospital was furnished with valuable carpets of wool, cotton, silk, and leather, so wonderful that I cannot even describe them. For the use of patients, there were provided day dresses and night dresses, thick for winter and thin for summer. After he was cured, a poor patient received on leaving the hospital a sum of money sufficient to keep him for a time. Rich patients received back their money and clothes. Every Friday, the prince, after the midi prayer, mounted his horse to go and visit the patients and learn about each of them. A number of hospitals and dispensaries were established in Mecca and Medina. In 628 AH, the Abbasid Caliph Al-Mustansir Billah built a large dispensary in Mecca. Muslim India didn't lag behind other countries in this humanitarian work, and according to Allama Makrizi, in the reign of Muhammad Tughlaq, Delhi alone possesses more than 17 hospitals. The Mughal Emperor Jahangir had issued a proclamation for the establishment of a greater number of hospitals and dispensaries in his dominions. A Muslim physician in Spain had planted in the park of Werner a botanical garden in which he cultivated rare medical herbs which he had brought from his travels. Special features. A military medical unit existed from the days of early Islam, and during the reign of second Caliph, such as a unit was attached to each army. Sultan Mahmud the Seljuk was first to organize military hospitals and mobile dispensaries on a regular basis. The military medical equipment of Seljuk kings moved on 100 camels. A post of Inspector General of Hospital was created during the Abbasid regime, which was usually occupied by the most outstanding physician in the Islamic world. Another post, that of Chief Chemist, was also created to head the department which supervised the preparation of the drugs. Zia ibn Bitar, who was a great botanist and herbalist, occupied this post in 646 AH. So, my friends, we just saw and heard that in medieval time, the Muslims' contribution to establishing hospitals, dispensaries, pharmacies, universities, chemistry, drug production units, teaching units attached to the medical teaching units attached to hospitals. They were everywhere. And at that time, it was not in Europe of any such facility for the sick and patients. So we are amazed to learn that all these facilities which were provided by the rulers of Islamic world, it's no more mentioned. It's all disappeared. It's nowhere. No one, even Muslims don't want to talk on that because what we see today, that is considered a truth. So here I end my lecture. See you in the next lecture. Thank you. Keep watching.